Hello, everybody, and welcome! This is Mobile Suit Gundam Zeonic Front. I was so excited that I got to show off Mobile Suit Gundam Side Story 0079 that I said to myself, well, I want to have something that complements that. And there was also part of me that was like, I love giant robots, obviously, because I'm showing off Gundam games, and I also showed off Ring of Red. It's not intentional, but it partially is intentional. Giant robots are cool. I wanted to show off something that complemented 0079 very well, and that is Zeonic Front. It's a sort of different take on Mobile Suit combat, where 0079 was a bit more of a simulation. This is a bit more of a tactics game. But the more important thing is that we are fighting on the opposite side of the battlefield, so to speak. In this game, we are soldiers for the Principality of Zeon. In the anime, they are the bad guys, even though there are still plenty of admirable and interesting people who are Zeon soldiers. But they are the ones who are the bad guys in the anime. So here, we are going to participate in a big moment in the anime, the attack on Jaburo, or as I sometimes say, Jaburo. You'll notice that there's not going to be a lot of background sound. That's because I'm probably going to mix in some music to this. There's a song that plays during the attack on Jaburo, and they tend to play it in most of the games, and it's in the movie, and I think it's in the anime, I don't know. It's a song called Soldiers of Sorrow, and it's got this really great sound to it, which I think will complement the action, and also the lyrics are really sad if you know Japanese. I'm not going to be like, let's talk about anime too much, but that's my spiel. If you hear music, I'm mixing it in because I think it's going to be really cool. So, Zeonic Front, oh my gosh, there's so much to talk about, and I want to get through it fast because I don't want to have you sit here forever. So, you are part of a mobile suit team called Midnight Fenrir, and at the start of the game, there's only 2 members of the team. So let's check out the team. There's a ton of us now. You only start off with Lieutenant Rower and Master Chief Petty Officer Austin. And from there you get Ensign Hepner, and it just builds and builds and builds. And you get access to more and more mobile suits, and it's really, really cool. So Lieutenant Rower, for instance, has access to the Goof Custom. I always say Goof. I don't know if it's really pronounced that way. But if I want to, I can give him a Zaku 2, sort of the basic grunt unit of Zeon. But we want to give him the Goof because it is no Zaku, boy! No Zaku! And so you get to do all these cool things. You manage your weapons. In this case, I want to have the assault rifle and not the machine gun. And that will be really useful. And I don't want Ensign Roberto in there. I actually want to switch him out for Petty Officer Swaggard. And the interesting thing I should note just for Mobile Suit fans is that Petty Officer Swaggard and actually Master Chief Petty Officer Austin have access to the Zaku 1. At the beginning of the game, it makes sense. Like, the mobile suit models that you have access to are really basic because it's the start of the war. Zeon are the only people who have mobile suits. So Austin has a Zaku 1, and then Rower has a Zaku 2. Austin stays with the Zaku 1 throughout the entire campaign, whereas Petty Officer Swaggard here gets access to the Dome, which is a great mobile suit that we are going to be using for 2 members of our team during this. So we are going to make sure that when they are not under our command, if that ever happens, they use sonar for their sensors. And it's tempting to toss another Goof in there, but we got a new team member called Lieutenant Fran, and her default unit is the Dome. And the Dome's really cool. It hovers off the ground, so you don't have as much sound on sonar, so enemies don't necessarily notice it. And they have bazookas that they don't need to sort of stabilize to fire. So they're really useful mobile suits. So that will be our team. It will be Lieutenant Rower, Petty Officer Swaggard, and Lieutenant Fran. And just like 0079, you have chances to go talk to people. So Lieutenant Fran just joined our team. So let's talk to her. Heads up, we've got some sound coming in for a minute.
I'm Lieutenant Sophie Fran. I'm now fairly used to Earth's gravity, so my combat skills are fine now. It's good to meet you. Well, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared, but what has to be done, has to be done. After all, I am a soldier.
So you have all of these members of your team that you get to know. They're all really cool. I could talk to them and just have an entire video where I talk to them, but that's not what we're going to do. One of the big things, though, is setting up attack routes. Besides setting up your teams, because that makes a huge difference from mission to mission what mobile suits you have in the field. Route setup is huge. So Zeonic Front is like if a less frantic version of Armored Core had a child with Rainbow Six. And that's a really specific thing to say. But it'll make sense when you see it in action. So here we actually want to have our team push up, because there's actually going to be an enemy we encounter that's beyond the point where our teams stop. And in order to sort of have things be fairly safe for us, or relatively safe anyway, what I want to do is I actually want to overwhelm that position with just superior numbers. Mobile suits in this game are very fragile. Gun emplacements can do a lot of damage to them. Tanks, like just normal tanks, can do a lot of damage to them, and that's because where 0079 wanted things to feel very frantic and did so... oh no, I need to execute on a point. That's right. 0079 wanted to make everything feel frantic because it was sort of a cockpit simulator. Granted, it wasn't like Steel Battalion, but, you know, it wants to sort of emulate the experience of being inside a giant robot. Here, this is about sort of management in the field and dealing with those complications. So if you don't have superior numbers or decent tactics, you're going to run into problems. Most suits go down in one shot from a bazooka. Machine guns take them down fairly quickly, because we're not piloting super special mobile suits. We're piloting what the we're piloting what sort of the grunts from the anime pilot, right? And that was the case in 0079, but the action in 0079 needed to be more frantic, so you couldn't have like one-hit kills. Here you can, and you'll sort of see what's going on. So we are going to attack Jabro, 2 teams with domes, 1 team with a goof, and hopefully we will not goof up. Ha 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 ha. And hopefully I'll mix in some music and it will be really, really cool. And that will be that. By default, you start off with blue team, but we're going to just let blue team do their own thing. And we're actually, I think, we'll take control of Swaggard's team. So we're going to move through these tunnels down to a dock and attack the base. And we'll move forward. I might take some damage. I know there are some gun emplacements up ahead. Spoiler alert, there are enemies. But it might give you a chance to see how fragile mobile suits actually are in this game, unless I'm really careful. But there's actually a mobile suit around the corner that I'm going to take down, hopefully. And you'll see that was sort of not disastrous, right? But a lot of stuff went down. Underneath, if you look on the little magical doohickeys down below, that little orange sliver, that's actually what my health was. Actually, I had trouble pronouncing that. But I can switch to green team or blue team, and you can see that that's full health. And I took that damage from a gun emplacement. I didn't even take it from the mobile suit that we attacked, who's actually on the ground right in front of us. I'm going to give everybody Signal Alpha, which is just going to be the code to move ahead, and we'll go from there. I have a couple options when I'm moving about, mostly just with radar, right? I can do standard radar, I can do thermal, and apparently something happened to green team, so I don't know what took down green leader. In fact, I can go check. Green team got hit by what? What did you get hit by? I can't tell, but they're still going to follow out on their orders even though their team leader was down. If all 3 team leaders go down, then you fail the mission, obviously. So that was unfortunate. I've never had it where green team got taken out on the approach like that. which means that combat at the end is going to be complicated, because the enemy we encounter is very tough, very robust. But I like the fact that those sort of complications can happen, and that you're not particularly powerful. It really makes the game feel very exciting. And so that team just got taken out. Or rather, one of the domes got hit a little bit. So there's a mobile suit up here. Looks like just a GM. So if I fire with my bazooka, yeah, one bazooka hit's going to take them out. And green team is up ahead fighting some suits. Let's see if we can help them out. Do they need the help? No. So we'll actually move up. Here's where the radar thing comes into big play. You'll see standard radar gets a lot of interference. So there's a space warship here. It's not White Base, but there actually, as a side note, there is a mission where you have to scout out White Base and you encounter the Gundam and the gun tank and the gun cannon, and you need to get combat data, and it's very, very scary. But this is also scary because there's a new mobile suit that they're showing, and this is the Mudrock Gundam. So it's basically a variation of the normal Gundam, right? But it has those two gun cannon sort of attachments to it. And there's story about this Lieutenant Agar and everything. It's really cool. But we want to take out the Mudrock, and those cannons are absolutely devastating. So that's one of the reasons I want to have our team sort of overwhelm that position. However, around these corners are going to be more mobile suits. So let's get in there. Yep. Fantastic. And we'll try and move up. Blue team's going to move up around the same time as us. Everything's really well coordinated. So the battle plan's going very well, and I'm happy for that. I think there's a tank at the end of the bridge, but we want to actually attack the ship as well. You'll notice, like, I don't know if I've said it or not, particle effects for this game make things go to hell. They're really intense. So Mudrock is over here. And, well, actually, that was a standard mobile suit. Mudrock's here, and it's going to fire its cannon, and that's going to hurt us pretty bad. So red leader goes down. Blue leader is the only one left standing, but it's possible that the other dome team will take out the target. So yeah, not a dramatic finish, but we did have the last dome team get in there and attack the Mudrock, which then clipped through the ground. So a little bit of the gravitas there was lost, but definitely a good example of how frantic the mobile suit combat can get. You know, green team went down early, and then, you know, red team took the hit from the cannon, and then if we weren't careful, they were going to get hit even more, so it's good that the extra dome went in there. That's just good team management. It's good mobile suit management. But if that wasn't the case, I would have to rush in there as blue team and sort of make the attack. And shooting the rifle wouldn't have worked. I would have had to run in there and actually try and use my heat saber to attack it. So I'm glad that didn't happen. Like I said, a little anticlimactic given the fact that I was like, ooh, Mudrock Gundam, but whatever. This is a really fun game. If you get a chance to play it, I highly recommend it. I think copies of it are probably fairly cheap. There were a lot of Gundam games for the PlayStation 2. There was Federation vs. Zeon. There was Journey to Jaburo. This is probably my favorite out of all of them. It treats mobile suit combat a little bit more intelligently. 0079 is still my favorite in terms of a raw experience. If you really feel some frantic action when you are in the cockpit. But here, it still gets pretty frantic and exciting. So I'm going to see what my result is. I'm going to say 2 teams down. I'm going to get probably a rank C. Yeah, rank C. So average round, but still decent. So that was Zeonic Front. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let's remember, we always play it nice and loose. This is not mini crits. This is not let's crit. This is just, I want to show you something cool, and we'll do that. We're going to get back to some of the let's explores and things like that. Stick around with the channel. There's great stuff. If you like it, I don't say this very often on videos. Let people know. More people have been watching videos, and it's really cool because people seem to be enjoying things, rather. Excuse me, and I like that. I want to provide things that people enjoy, and it's really great to know that people are enjoying it. So share it if you enjoy it. Let's spread that that Gundam love, that video game love. It's great. Speaking of love, I love you. Your hair looks great. Thank you for watching. I will see you all around. Bye.